Now, speaking of content that will help us out with the show, ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, he's one of our head writers over at What's on Sports. Used to work for Fox Sports, but today he's just here with us. I like to see that big, beautiful head. Lance Fernandez in the house. Lance, how are you?
Doing awesome, John. Hope you're doing well as well.
I'm doing good, man. I saw you jump in and out there. All the technical problems are okay, though, buddy?
Yeah, I guess somebody must have done some voodoo on us. Maybe it's Deshaun Watson, but I guess we have reversed that curse already.
Could be Deshaun Watson. Could be the Chiefs fans. Could be anything, right?
Could be Kyrie Irving also, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because I'm broadcasting from the other side of the flat earth. Yeah. All right, listen, while I got you here, there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the Hall of Fame. The NFL just came out with their new list of Hall of Fame members, at least Hall of Fame nominees, and I want to go over them with you here today because my understanding is you're writing an editorial piece on this very same subject.
Yes, so there are currently 15 semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2021, and that already includes the senior finalists in Bill Nunn, who was a longtime scout, and Drew Pearson, a former Cowboys wide receiver. And of course, we also have Tom Flores, the former Raiders head coach. So aside from them, there are 15 finalists. And by law of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they can elect from 4 up until 8 in any given year. So if we are to take the maximum for this year, so you have 3 senior candidates, and you can add 5 more players to the list.
Okay, all right. So let me ask you a question. Who's up for nomination this year? Like, is there anybody of notoriety?
Okay, so I've actually selected who I think would make it to the class of 2021. And I think that this class will max out for this year because there's just so much talent. It's loaded with personalities, loaded with players who have proven their worth in the NFL and have won in the big stage as well. So from all of those 15, I believe that these 5 players stand among the rest, and they deserve to enter Canton, Ohio.
All right, let me hear what you got.
Okay, first person is a no-brainer. It's Peyton Manning. First year of eligibility, 2-time Super Bowl winner, 1 with the Colts, 1 with the Broncos, 5-time NFL MVP, 7-time first-team All-Pro by the Associated Press, holds the single-season record for passing yards, career records in passing yards and passing touchdowns, and 13 consecutive seasons with at least 25 passing yards. And more importantly, he was able to bounce back and win a title despite a broken neck with Indianapolis. That alone is a Hall of Fame distinction for one Peyton Manning.
Yeah, for me, I think Peyton Manning just comes down to one simple statement, and it's the greatest quarterback of all time. A lot of people say it's Tom Brady. A lot of people talk about other people. To me, Peyton Manning is without a shadow of a doubt the greatest quarterback of all time because he revolutionized the way quarterbacks thought about the game. The way he was out there really just manipulating defenses, and the things that he did were next level compared to a lot of other players. So you could talk about guys like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, quote unquote, revolutionizing the quarterback position. Peyton Manning revolutionized it far more than either one of those guys, I think, ever will, in my opinion, because it's been emulated so much now. So Peyton Manning's a no-brainer. Who's next on your list?
Another easy choice for the class of 2021. It's Megatron. Calvin Johnson played only 9 seasons, but 7 of those he got at least 1,000 yards in receiving. It helps to have a Matthew Stafford, but he was just a man among boys when he was playing for Detroit. He gave the franchise some relevance during his years, and he was selected to 3 first-team All-Pro selections. He has the record for most receiving yards in one season, which is close to 2,000 yards. And nobody can just stop him, especially in single coverage. So Calvin Johnson, despite playing for just 9 seasons, he really had some records and really had the numbers to prove that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, a player like Calvin Johnson, for those people that never got to see him play, to me, a little longer career, and he would have been the best we ever saw. For periods, he very well could have been. He was literally unstoppable at some points. And you look, Matthew Stafford was a decent quarterback, never great, looked a lot better because of a guy like Megatron. Megatron never had anybody of any substance really that lined across from him. There was never like a great run game there. It was the Megatron show for a long time. I can't even tell you, looking at highlights, how many times I saw Megatron make these jump catches and these amazing plays that were just fantastic and fascinating to me. And And yes, he's a first, in my opinion, a first ballot Hall of Famer all the way.
No doubt about it. He's a cheat code when he's on the field.
Absolutely. Who's next?
Third on the list. We go to the defensive side of the ball. Again, this is one of the first year eligible for the ballot. It's Charles Woodson. Played for the Raiders. Won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. 1998 Defensive Rookie of the Year. 2009 Defensive Player of the Year. His 65 career interceptions are fifth most in the NFL. And he has an interception, at least one interception that is, in all of his 18 seasons. He has led the league in interceptions twice. That's in 2009 and 2011. And he's only the second player in NFL history to win the Heisman, to win a rookie distinction, a player of the year distinction, and a Super Bowl. First being Marcus Allen. So without a doubt, head and shoulders, hands down, Charles Woodson should be in Canton as well.
Just an amazing football player. And what a lot of people don't remember is Charles Woodson came into the NFL as a kick returner, punt returner / cornerback, and eventually transitioned to safety. And a lot of people just remember him as a safety, but Woodson was a lockdown corner when there were no lockdown corners, then became an amazing safety. The guy's really literally just a football player. Could play in the box, could play the deep thirds, could cover man-to-man. Really, really well-deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. Great choice. Who's next on your list?
You would like this next choice because it's one of your hometown boys. And we go to the trenches. It's Alan Faneca. Yeah, yes. Longtime guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers, also played for the New York Jets. And picture this, he has blocked for 3 1,000-yard rushers. That's Willie Parker, Thomas Jones, and Jerome Bettis. That's the biggest distinction or the biggest award that you can have as a lineman, an offensive lineman at that, is to dig holes and create seams for your runners to pass through. And Alan Faneca was one of the best. And who could ever forget that play in Super Bowl 40 when he had to drag and to be able to extend the play with Ben Roethlisberger. 6-time first-team All-Pro Alan Faneca started 201 out of 206 career games in 13 seasons.
Wow. Crazy.
And then he helped his teams get 11 top 10 rankings in rushing offense. So without question, Alan Faneca deserves to be part of the class of 2021.
Yeah, as a Steeler fan, it was a pleasure to watch that offensive line during the time that Faneca was there, mainly because you knew that at left guard, Alan Faneca was always going to have his man. He was a great pulling guard. He was great at pass blocking. Of course, he was kind of a nasty guy, so he would just maul you as well. Really, really well-deserved pick. Faneca got skipped over last year, so it's really nice to see him go in this year. Who's your last pick that's a guarantee this year?
Okay, completing the list of who I think will enter the 2021 class Pro Football Hall of Fame is Jared Allen. So we go defense once again. Jared Allen, 4-time first-team All-Pro, leads the NFL or ties with the lead in the NFL for safeties with 4. 136 career sacks and led the league in sacks for 2 seasons. And just like Alan Faneca, who is a model of durability, Jared Allen started in 181 out of 187 career games. And he's just a menace from that edge. Jared Allen, wherever he plays, no matter what jersey he wears, he was just a terrifying presence as he comes down for the quarterback. So hands down, Jared Allen deserves to be in this class as well.
Look, Jared Allen would have been a much more popular, much more well thought of player had he not played in Minnesota for most of his career. Nothing offensive about the Minnesota Vikings. They're just not a huge market. They're not great at marketing. But when Allen played for Minnesota, he was fierce, absolutely fierce. Another great choice. Those are your 5, right?
Yep, those are my 5.
I'd like to throw one in there for myself. Again, this is a hometown pick, but it makes sense in the history of football. But Bill Nunn, you mentioned him earlier. He was a scout for the 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers. Bill Nunn is responsible for scouting that super team that has all those Hall of Fame players in there. He was the lead scout. He was the scout for the 1974 draft that brought in 4 Hall of Famers, including John Stallworth. And here's a quick story about Bill Nunn and Chuck Noll. Bill Nunn discovered John Stallworth at the University of Southern Mississippi, I believe it is. And at the time, there was no internet. There were no digital tapes. They would share tapes. So colleges would make a tape for a player. They would make maybe 1 or 2 duplicates, and they would send them out to NFL teams. When NFL teams were done looking at them, they would send it to the next team. Well, Pittsburgh got the scouting tape of John Stallworth, who was a wide receiver, looked at it and said, this guy's a first-round draft choice, but no one's going to know it because he's down at this little small university. And they were supposed to send the tape to the next team, and they lost it and never sent it anywhere. So Pittsburgh was the only team to ever see the tape, and they took Lynn Swann in the first round. They took Jack Lambert in the second round, and they waited until the third round and took John Stallworth. Stallworth was very upset about what had happened, thought he was a first-round guy, found out later what happened. It worked out for him. He ended up being one of the faces of the franchise, but it's the only time in history that a team is drafted first, second, third, fourth round was Mike Webster. First 4 rounds, all 4 guys went to the Hall of Fame. That was all because of Bill Nunn. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I really hope that he gets it because scouts, guys like that, never get that opportunity. All right. Thanks very much for the Hall of Fame wrap-up. I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. I'm actually excited to see how they're going to handle the whole thing because last year the players never got to give their speeches. So are they going to let those guys talk and then these guys talk as well? So it's kind of an interesting way they're going to do it because of COVID. Who knows if they can even do the ceremony again this year? Does this mean they'll never do ceremonies again? It's a weird world we live in because of COVID, but